"Don't drink it, Sarah," the old woman whispered, her voice trembling. Sarah's hand froze, the cup just inches from her lips. "Why not?" she asked. "Because it's not just tea. They want your baby." The rain fell hard that night in Ibadan. Sarah and her husband, Thomas, had just moved into their new apartment in an old colonial building called the Oak Lodge. It was beautiful, arched hallways, thick wooden doors, and a rooftop view that stretched across the city. Thomas had found the place through a family friend and convinced Sarah it was perfect for them. First, everything seemed normal. The neighbors were overly friendly, always checking on her, bringing soup, fruits, and strange herbs they called blessings. One evening, Thomas came home with news that he had gotten a big acting role in a Nollywood series, even though he hadn't auditioned. Sarah was happy for him, but something didn't feel right. Later that night, she woke up with sharp pain in her stomach. Felt like her insides were twisting. She screamed, and Thomas rushed her to the hospital. The doctor smiled after examining her. "Congratulations, Sarah. You're 2 weeks pregnant." Sarah froze. Pregnant? They'd only started trying a few days ago. When they got home, their neighbors, Mama Nkechi and Uncle Dairon, were already waiting. "Oh, congratulations," they shouted before she even told them. "How did you know?" she asked, confused. They just smiled. That night, Sarah had a strange dream. She was lying on a cold floor, surrounded by people in white robes. One of them held a black goat. Another woman rubbed oil on her belly. A man chanted words she didn't understand. She woke up sweating, her nightgown soaked. Thomas slept beside her, peaceful. She shook him gently. "Thomas, I think something's wrong with the baby." He turned and held her tightly. "Everything's fine, Sarah. Just rest." But Sarah wasn't sure anymore. The next morning, Sarah sat at the edge of the bed, staring at her feet. She had barely slept. The dream still clung to her mind like smoke. She touched her belly, unsure of what she was even feeling. She walked to the window. Mama Nkechi was outside already, tending to her flower pots, humming a strange song. Their eyes met. The old woman smiled, but Sarah's chest tightened. Thomas walked in with a tray of breakfast. "You need to eat, love. You're eating for two now." She gave a small smile, even though she had no appetite. "Do you believe in dreams?" she asked quietly. He raised an eyebrow. "What kind of dream?" She told him about the cold floor, the goat, the people chanting. His face didn't show surprise. Instead, he reached for her hand. "Sarah, it's just your hormones. Dreams get wild during pregnancy. I read about it online. But how did they know I was pregnant before we even told them?" He hesitated. "Maybe I told Uncle Dairon by mistake. I don't remember, honestly." That answer didn't sit well with her, but she nodded anyway. Later that day, she walked past the room next to theirs, an empty apartment supposedly under renovation. The door was open just a crack. She peeped in. Inside, she saw Mama Nkechi and two others sitting on the floor, burning something in a clay pot. A sharp, bitter scent filled the air. She quickly pulled back before they noticed. When she turned around, Uncle Dairon was behind her. "Looking for something?" he asked, smiling too widely. I was just walking." He nodded slowly. "Careful where you walk, Sarah. This house is full of old secrets." Her skin crawled. That night, Thomas was gone for a script reading. Sarah was alone. Around 2 a.m., she heard footsteps in the hallway, slow, heavy, and dragging. She opened the door. No one was there, but a small black feather lay on the doormat. She picked it up. It was warm. Sarah didn't sleep for the rest of the night. She kept the feather in a napkin and placed it in her drawer. Her heart pounded each time she heard a creak or whisper in the hallway. By morning, her eyes were swollen from lack of sleep. Thomas noticed. "Babe, you're not looking okay," he said, placing his palm on her forehead. "Do you feel sick?" She shook her head. No, just tired. And something weird happened last night. She told him about the footsteps, the feather, the open door, everything. Thomas sighed and rubbed his forehead. Sarah, please. You're stressing too much. That could hurt the baby. Let's go out today, just us. Get some fresh air. She agreed, hoping the sunlight would help clear her mind. They went to a small cafe not far from the University of Ibadan. It was peaceful. Thomas made her laugh for the first time in days, and for a moment she almost believed everything would be okay. Until she noticed a man at the next table. He was staring at her. Not at Thomas. Not at the food. Just her. He wore a dark red cap and held prayer beads. His lips moved like he was whispering something. Sarah turned away, her chest tightening. Do you know him? She asked Thomas. No. Why? He's been staring at me. Thomas looked, but the man was gone. Chair was empty. Back home, Sarah went to lie down. She rubbed her belly gently, whispering, You're safe. I promise. Then she heard something again. A sound. Like a heartbeat. But it wasn't coming from her chest. It was coming from the walls. She pressed her ear against the side of the bedroom. Thump, thump, thump. Steady. Strong. Loud. She stepped back slowly, breathing hard. Suddenly, the door to the empty apartment next door slammed shut on its own. Sarah screamed. Thomas came rushing in. What happened? She pointed to the wall. The baby, the heartbeat, it's not just inside me. Thomas looked at her like she was losing her mind. But Sarah knew something was inside that wall. And it wasn't human. Thomas didn't believe her. He held her shoulders and looked her in the eyes. Sarah, listen to me. You need to rest. You're imagining things. You're scared, I understand, but this is just stress. Sarah pulled away. No, Thomas. I know what I heard. I know what I felt. That wasn't in my head. He sighed. Fine. Tomorrow we'll call a doctor. But tonight, please sleep. For me. For the baby. She nodded slowly. She was tired of fighting. Her body ached. But in her heart, the fear kept growing. That night, she locked their bedroom door and placed a chair behind it. Thomas was already asleep. She couldn't close her eyes. Every time she tried, she heard whispers, faint but sharp like something crawling through her brain. At midnight, her eyes opened wide. The air in the room had changed. It was heavier, warmer, thick like smoke but without any smell. She sat up. The wall beside her was glowing faintly. A dull red light pulsed from behind the paint. She reached out and touched it. It was hot. Suddenly, her belly twisted again. A sharp pain, like something inside was clawing to get out. She fell to the floor, clutching herself, tears streaming from her eyes. Then came the voice. Not from Thomas. Not from outside. From inside her. A small, dark voice. Don't fight it, Sarah. You are chosen. She screamed and passed out. When she woke up, the room was normal. The wall was cold. The air was still. Thomas was still asleep, peaceful as ever. She checked her belly. No pain. Just movement. Kick. Then another. And then laughter. Tiny, muffled laughter. From inside her womb. She covered her mouth to stop from screaming. Whatever was growing inside her was not just a baby. It was alive in a different way. A way that didn't belong to this world.